Hi there, I'm Cathy Conway. I'm in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada, and I work with a brokerage called Remax Avante. And I've actually been in business for about 5 years. Have tried so many different CRMs to find the one that works for me. And Follow Up Boss was the one, but I'll let Elena ask the question she wants about how I've come to work with her.
Very good. Well, yeah, appreciate that introduction and thank you for taking the time to share. Starting from the very beginning, how did you, first of all, when did you start using Follow Up Boss?
I started using Follow Up Boss, I think probably last October. Um, as you know, Remax integrated with KV Core. So that was kind of my introduction to them. In the past, I had been using a different one, and it wasn't doing what I needed it to do. And what I needed it to do was have some sort of a system in place for me to keep track of who I needed to call. So everyone I work within a coaching group called Richard Robbins here in Canada. And a lot of people within that group were using Follow Up Boss. So that's how I get introduced. Then through that community, I heard about you, and it sounded like the integrations and the customizations you had done were perfect for exactly what I needed to do. Who do I need to call today? Who do I need to stay in touch with, and when?
Okay, yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, we've worked with a few people from that coaching group. So that's very cool that you all have been sharing about your experience with Follow Up Boss. So
Definitely.
after you initially heard about Follow Up Boss and you signed up for that, and then after you heard about Key Technology, what ultimately made you decide to go ahead and hire us and work with us?
Uh, One phone call with you guys was really all it took for me. I just found you so knowledgeable, professional, and also just the stories I had heard about the work you had done for people in the past. For me, it was really a no-brainer, and also the costs associated with it to me were far were well worth the money, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So whenever we did work with you, can you share, for those who don't know, can you share a little bit about what types of services we did provide for you and your follow-up boss?
So when I first started in with Follow Up Boss, I was, trying to go through and find out which of the workflows would be best for people in order to kind of stay in touch on the long term. They just didn't really seem to have the catches or the pulls that I felt were going to engage the people in the way I wanted them to. When I got a sense of what you guys were providing, and a little bit of it was also blind trust. But at the end of the day, for me, when I saw what that was all about, how extensive they were, how easy they were to be engaged by just a few simple clicks when someone was coming in, it has completely automated so much for me that now when I sit down at my computer to do my daily prospecting, I don't need to know whether these people know who I am.
Mm, yeah, that's great. That's really good.
Yeah.
So I can't remember off the top of my head, how long have you been using the setup?
So that initial setup for me with the customized smart lists and the workflows and the emails going out, I think we did that in November.
Okay.
So then I was like, okay, we've got that all ready to roll. That's flowing so nicely. Um, I'm a solo agent, so I needed something that was going to keep me on track with my transaction management. Here in Canada, we typically don't hire transaction coordinators and things like that. You either have a full-time assistant or you do it yourself. And I'm a do-it-yourself agent. So the next phase that I went through with you guys was having you customize my checklist. This was just done. Interacting with your group to get everything set up was literally a dream. Your customer service and support and interaction is seamless. And what I was asking for was no small task. And it was done, and I wasn't in a rush, so I was working within your time frames, my time frames, and it was seamless. Now, it was very recent, so I haven't had a chance to dig in and get used to using it. But again, so economical, a dream to work with. And you took everything I wanted, and it's all right there.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing that and your kind words. So I know that there can sometimes be a common fear people have when they're considering working with us, that because we're not sort of a subscription model, you pay one time for our services. There's a fear that we may not be in touch with you long term. We may just give you the setup and say good luck and move on to the next person. So can you share, I know that you mentioned that our team was really great to work with, but can you share what our support was like and has been like since we initially worked with you?
Maybe I am a bit of a needy client, but I never once felt like I was bothering you guys if there was a specific question that I needed answered, or even just something simple that within the detailed explanation that you guys gave, just a simple clarification. It was always done efficiently, timely, and with amazing customer service. In all honesty, I feel like you folks in your follow-up and how you treat your clients have actually made me a better realtor,
Oh, wow. Why
because
do you
you
say
taught
that?
me about that consistent follow-up, that yeah, you practice what you preach, Elena.
I appreciate that. Thank you. We try. We try. So last question before for you before you go. If someone were on the fence about working with us, maybe they're watching your video, they've watched others, what would you tell them?
You will not have one regret, not one. It has made me a better realtor on so many levels. It's increased my productivity. I would say just since I've been using it since last November, I have re-engaged. I'd have to look specifically at the numbers, but I would say at least a dozen people in my pipeline for 2024, just since what I've integrated last November.
Wow, that's incredible.
People that I would not have expected or probably would have overlooked me and gone with someone else. But because of that consistent follow-up and the systems, they will work with me again.
That's so great to hear. Well, I appreciate your time, Cathy, and thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I know that people will find your perspective super helpful, especially in Canada. So I really appreciate your time.
Anything I can do to help, Elena, thank you.